Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Buenos días. ¿Qué dicen? Es en vivo sorpresa el día de hoy. La neta, estoy bien contento porque pues va a ser como un en vivo diferente, digamos. Em, no es el en vivo común. Ya hay gente aquí conectándose. Ricardo, ¿cómo estás, hermano? Y Juan, ¿cómo estás? Juan Vázquez, qué chido que anden por aquí. Va a ser extraño porque va a ser en inglés, en mi malo inglés, que está bastante, eh, pues no lo uso ya, la neta, tanto, entonces, pero nos vamos a echar, la neta es que creo que es más fácil, sobre todo para el invitado, y vamos a dejar un tiempecito, si quieren, al final, con preguntas que tengan. Entonces, déjame ver nada más. Platíqueme si se escucha bien, si ve bien. Juan, si me puedes ayudar ahí, nada más si se escucha y se ve, y le damos. Ah, ok. Entonces, vamos a presentar al invitado. Hey, 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 Jeremy, how are you, man?
Hi, everybody. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No, my pleasure, my pleasure. Um, how's everything in Japan now? It's very late,
Well,
right?
yeah, it's about 11 p.m. here, but things are getting back to normal somewhat. The state of emergency here due to the coronavirus ended a couple weeks ago, so businesses have been opening with normal hours. There's been a lot of
Nice.
people, doing the normal shopping and the usual thing. I see bars open now, so it's getting back to normal here. So life as usual.
Yeah, because I think there was like a law where bars couldn't open or sell like alcohol.
Right.
That's funny. That's funny because there are no like tourists, so it's like, why do you do that?
Right. Well, I think the idea was that, and it wasn't just bars, it was any restaurants were not allowed to sell alcohol. You could still buy it at supermarkets and convenience stores, but I think they were trying to urge people to just go home, basically
Hmm.
take your stuff home. They wanted to avoid people like, drinking and then talking to each other loudly at bars or even out in the streets. I guess to them, that was going to prevent everything. It's basically people, because, people don't really get very close here. They're usually they have their distance and they are very quiet, but when they start drinking, I guess
Hmm.
they get closer and louder. So I understand the logic behind that, but I don't know how much it actually worked. But yeah, it's back to normal now for the most part. People still wearing masks in most of public areas, but today when I was in Shinjuku, I saw all sorts of people without masks just having beers. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, because Japanese people are very like they follow the rules, right? And so for
Yeah.
me, it was kind of strange because I mean, in Mexico, we actually don't care about anything, but in Japan, they really follow the rules. And I thought that maybe Japan would open like very fast because people will go to have like the vaccine and everything will go to normal very very soon. But that
No.
happened.
Yeah, we were really late getting the vaccines here. We were one of the last countries to get vaccines sent in to start that whole process. So I think now we're all caught up and stuff, but it was really delayed because it was happening almost in all the other countries way before it even started here. And uh, also, right when we would like kind of stop, we had like several states of emergency, and there would be like a state of emergency that would be lifted, and then there would be a holiday weekend, and then right after the holiday weekend, like the COVID rates would just skyrocket, and you know, it went right back to the starting line where the infections were up and back to lockdown.
Yeah, and then the Olympics, right? So
Yeah, and that was so awkward. The Olympics were so awkward.
yeah, must be. So I mean, I'm sure like many people from here knows they know your story, but I think it's important to maybe just to tell us like why are you in Japan? Like how's your story? Like have you been there? How long have you been there and all that?
Yeah. All right, I'll explain, and also I'll remove my glasses, like you guys can see. This is my character gimmick for the Tokyo Toy Bastard, but I'll be real now. Yeah, man, I found these at one of my favorite Keshi shops. All right, so I moved here in 2005 after first visiting in 2003, and I really loved it here. And in 2005, I was given the opportunity through my wife, a friend of my wife, to work at a manga studio. At the time, I was in art school, and I was really into manga, and I really wanted to, try that. And I know that you could get like an apprenticeship or be an assistant here. And so that was kind of what I was wanting to do, but not really thinking that it was possible for just like some white guy that didn't speak Japanese to just show up in Japan and be able to work at a manga studio. But yeah, my wife, who was then my fiance, had a friend that worked with her at Subway, the sandwich shop. She worked at there are Subways here, like the sandwich shop in Japan. She worked there as a sandwich artist when she was in college, and her coworker's mom was the cleaning lady for the Fist of the North Star manga studio, and she knew that they were having a call for assistants, and they were interested in trying out foreign assistants to apprentice and work on the Fist of the Blue Sky comic. So when I found that out, I applied, and I had to fly here on just 3 or 4 days notice. So I came here with zero Japanese and just walked into Hara Tetsuo's office, showed him my portfolio, which now in retrospect, it looks terrible. It was really bad, but he was like, okay. All right, you're hired. So, I even tried to draw Kenshiro. I'm a big Dragon Ball fan. I never really read Fist of the North Star. I watched the movie back, on VHS, but I never really tried to draw any of his characters. So I drew Kenshiro, and oh my god, it looked so bad. But yeah, I guess it was good enough. Good enough for him. So yeah, I started that following week. I started just working kind of on a part-time pace, just learning the different tools. And once I got good at it, then they let me work there full time, and then I was quickly bumped up to the lead digital illustrator, and I was doing a lot of special effects and coloring and shading on the computer, because we were one of the first mangas to start using digital coloring and shading for the black and white comic itself. Anyway, yeah, it was a wild experience, but yeah, I did that for a couple of years, and then it just became too much. It was really hard to maintain that lifestyle. The pay was like, it's less than you would make like working part-time, like at a fast food place. It was really bad pay, and you barely sleep. So yeah, and I just got married, so it was not the best of looks. So, and I had some ideas for my own stories, so I started trying to go with that, and somehow I've ended up just becoming just an insane toy collector instead of working at manga studio.
That's what any sane people will do in Japan, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that actually started at the manga studio. I started buying like Dragon Ball Gashapon minifigures and Godzilla toys, and then decorating my desk with them. And then Hara Sensei's sister, who worked at the studio at the time, came in and told me, "Yeah, hey, you need to take these off. There's too many of these on the desk.
Take them home, please."
Yeah. And she literally just took a bag and started scooping them into a bag. Take home. I was like, oh, none of these are
so cool.
They're not Kenshiro.
No, ya. Jonathan, muchas gracias por ese super sticker. Te agradezco mucho, carnal. 5 euros. Y para los que van conectando, estoy con Jeremy de Tokyo Toy Bastard. Al final, si quieren hacer alguna pregunta o las vayan poniendo ahí, porque creo que va a ser muy complicado estarlo haciendo como en español y inglés cada cosa. Y entonces, al final, si quieren preguntarle algo, con todo gusto lo hacemos. Mientras tanto, le seguimos. So you were saying like you started collecting like Dragon Ball stuff and Gogeta stuff, but
Yes.
when you started collecting, I think things were very different in this collector's world, and
Yeah.
then something happened and it exploded, right? And prices
Yeah.
went
It
to
was
like
a very different time.
skyrocket.
Yeah. At that time, like actually the first like little like I was really into I've been into Godzilla like my entire life, but there
Hmm.
wasn't a whole lot of Godzilla stuff in the US. And then I was a big Dragon Ball fan in high school. So those are the first two things that I wanted to find when I moved here was like Dragon Ball stuff and Godzilla stuff. And I didn't really know where to go to find those kinds of things. Like I would kind of see little bits and stuff. There was Godzilla was the franchise had ended at that point, and
Okay.
there was no Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball was done at that time, so it was kind of hard to find those kinds of things. So my wife and one of her friends had found a couple places, and they recommended like Nakano Broadway. So my wife,
Okay.
the first time I went to Nakano Broadway, which you must know well now, um, she introduced me to that, and that was like the first like big wow, oh my god, this place is insane. And yeah, I started picking up stuff there and finding other little spots like in Akihabara and Shibuya. And there were some shops that don't exist anymore. There was a big shop in Shibuya. I think it exists, but not in the same way. That sold American action figures and comic books and things. That was called Blister. It was a big orange building, and I was really a big Hellboy collector too. So I was buying Hellboy comics and Hellboy figures at that time.
Okay.
But yeah, it was very different. Like Mandarake, I remember like the prices on a lot of stuff like at Mandarake were just really cheap compared to now. Like, and finding like designer vinyl, like for example, Godzilla designer vinyls for like less than 5,000 yen, secondhand market prices. And now those same things are double, triple, quadruple prices. So it was, yeah, I was very naive. I bought some of this stuff and then like I think I ended up selling a lot of it to like or giving it to friends. But
Okay.
yeah, now prices on everything is just insane. But you get lucky sometimes.
Yeah, you can still get lucky. Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
difficult right now. And speaking of that, like, I mean, many of us, we can travel to Japan. We can't travel to Japan right now. So, um, how's like things for you now? Like, maybe there you can find more stuff, maybe in Japan right now, or maybe people are buying the. a- a- Actually, me, I'm buying from Mandarake. Like, I send it
Yeah.
to the US or to Mexico. So,
Right.
but I don't know. Like, when things go to like their website, maybe they have been in the store for a long time. I don't know. I actually don't know about that.
I'm not sure how they decide, like Mandarake specifically. I don't know how they decide what they're gonna sell online. I assume it has to do with their inventory and
Hmm.
what they might have multiples of or don't have space for. I don't know. There's probably a few factors, but I know there's been items that you and I both were probably watching, and one of us got it before the other, or vice versa.
Yeah,
But
yeah, maybe.
yeah, but that's the interesting thing about that Mandarake site is pretty much anyone around the world can purchase those things.
Hmm.
So those things don't last very long. When they put the good stuff on Mandarake's website, it's usually gone with it. If you're not refreshing it like a couple times a day, you'll definitely miss things. So I think they've noticed that, and I think that's kept Mandarake like afloat because early in the pandemic, like when I would still go to Nakano Broadway because there was no one there. It was like a ghost town, and like the staff would like come over to you and have a conversation with you because they just had nothing to do. It was very weird. The Mandarake staff usually don't talk to you
No,
at all.
no.
Yeah, but it was like they were like looking for friends or something. They were like, "We're so scared." Like it was weird. It's back to normal now, but yeah, but like for example, I did a video on Superfest, which I don't know if you had ever been to Superfest. It's
Never.
it's it's held a couple times a year. I think it's the best toy event in the world, especially for Japanese toys specifically, because Wonderfest is nice, but it's really huge and it's all designer stuff. It's all brand new
Hmm.
stuff. Wonderfest is more like a giant toy flea market with all the best
Wow.
stuff. And I did a video last year, like around this time, and it was amazing because even though there was still coronavirus, they still held it. They had some extra things that you had to do to get in, but there was no one, like, compared to the usual, like where you're like walking in like this and bumping into people.
Mm-hmm.
It was just open space, and all
Wow.
the good stuff. All the good stuff. I got there late, and all the good stuff was still there, and they're really good prices at there. I was able to walk out with, in the video I showed, like just mountains and mountains of stuff for, you know, I only spent like a couple $100 total.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
I
crazy.
really need to go there.
Yeah, but you know, once tourism comes back, that's going to be harder. That's when people have to wait in line like from early morning just to get in there to get the good deals. So that was one example where I was like, wow, this is kind of nice. But unfortunately, those
Yeah.
kind of events, like, you have to be in Tokyo for those types of things. Wonderfest has moved online, and a couple of the other fests have moved online and have some international, you know, availability. So that's changed a lot of things. Like even some of the Sofubi makers that normally only do Japanese lotteries have started doing international lotteries. And I think even In One Go even opened up a web shop recently. A lot of those old school guys never even had web shops that did international sales. But yeah, it seems like this whole pandemic has changed things in a way that is maybe benefits people outside of Japan to, you know, get more of what's
Mm-hmm.
here. But yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. We did lose quite a few like really good spots, you know, that just couldn't stay in
Yeah.
business. So I hope to see
Yeah.
some of those places come back in some way. But yeah, for those of you guys that are online shopping, yeah, Mandarake is your best place for pretty much any of the really good stuff for decent prices. And I say it all the time. People complain about Mandarake prices. They're not bad. They're really not compared to
No.
like the crazy prices you see on Yahoo auctions and eBay. Mm-mm. Reasonable.
And it's funny because if you see like I know I I noticed like there's some stuff from Evangelion that maybe if they don't sell pretty fast, they will lower the price. So I mean, for me, it's the first time I see that. There's like an Asuka figure. Like
Uh-huh.
I just bought it in France, but it's like a figure. I think it's called like Labo something.
Yeah, it's one of the
It's
new
like
set
a
new series,
Gundam,
right?
like a
And
Gunpla, but with
she's got the
Mhm.
2.0 plug suit, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
one.
know that one. Yeah, Mandarake had that one for quite a high price, and
I
I
know.
saw I
Yeah, like
saw it
14.
around, and the price was a bit lower. So it looks like they started off with like a really high price, and then they realized they had a bunch of them, so they were dropping the price. But it's rare for them to drop prices. They usually will
I
leave
know. I
in there.
know.
It's the same price forever.
It's the first time I see that. For me,
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's getting cheaper. That's
yeah.
funny
I
because
think
they
it's
actually
only
don't.
if they get a large stock of something, they'll
Yeah,
reduce the price. Because I
yeah,
did see
maybe.
those pop up a lot. So recently,
Hmm. Hmm.
probably a stock thing. Speaking of Mandarake, today I went to Nakano Broadway for a short stint.
Nice.
And I love getting junk bags. You know, I'm a big junk bag guy, and
Uh
there's a
huh. Uh
couple
huh.
shops where you can find some really good junk bags. But I found this massive junk bag. It's all common writer
Whoa.
stuff, but there was a few things in here that I really want. It's hard to see what's in here, but I
Yeah, yeah,
paid
yeah.
for this entire bag. It was only 3,000 yen, so like $30. And
Wow.
there's probably like 200 figures in here.
No. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, that's a really good price. I mean,
Yeah. So I'm gonna go through this. There's a few things in here that I'm really excited about, but it's hard to find. That's another thing. It's getting hard to find these junk bags recently. Like a couple years ago, right before the pandemic, I used to see them a lot more often, but for some reason, I'm seeing them less and less. I don't know. Maybe people like because it's usually like stuff that's not packaged. Maybe a lot of the places are getting more weird or we're more picky about accepting like used goods, like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
like at the hard offs and hobby offs that would usually have the junk bins. Those also I don't see as many things in those anymore. I guess they don't want people's dirty fingers just digging through stuff. They want to keep everything in the
Yeah.
showcases.
Yeah, and maybe they're not buying as they used to. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
But
possibility as well. Or they realize that
yeah,
they
so
were losing money.
So you were talking about the cons, the conventions, and all that in
Yeah.
Japan. But do you miss like the U.S. conventions, like I know, I mean, there's like the San Diego Comic Con and the like so many, but I think they're really cool, and you can also get like Japanese stuff. But do you really miss them, or?
You know, I haven't. Like, I've been here for 15 years. There was a period when I went back to the U.S. and
Mm-hmm.
I think 2007 to 2009, something like
Okay.
that, is when I went back to the U.S. And during that period, I went like I had never really done any conventions before that.
Oh.
You know, I'm from
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky. Like the closest conventions were fairly far away. I was just like horse farms for me. There was like a couple local comic shops, so I never really went to any conventions until after I lived here. But when I came back, I was trying to get an animated series slash comic book off the ground with a friend of mine named Joey Mason,
Okay.
and he's currently an animation director for like some of the Netflix cartoons and stuff. He worked for Marvel and a bunch of other animation studios. But at that time, he hadn't worked for any of those places. But we were trying to promote this comic called Black Forest of the Sleeping Giant that we had produced. And at the same time, I was promoting like my story of working at the manga studio. So I used to give like little panels about, and had a slideshow about my experiences working at the manga studio. And
Okay.
so I got invited to like a lot of anime conventions because of that. So I did a mostly on the East Coast of the U.S. And I think the biggest one I did every year, like actually once from Japan, they put me in a hotel. They gave me
Wow.
like red carpet treatment for the first year. They thought I was like a manga artist, but I was like, I'm just like an assistant. I'm not really. But
But
they put
no,
me next
nobody
to like
has to
some.
know.
They put me next to like some big Marvel guys. Like, and I was like, what am I here? Like this. This is the wrong spot, guys. Um, but yeah, it was MegaCon. That was like my first experience, MegaCon in
Okay.
Orlando, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I went there a few times. I really liked that one. I actually if you've seen my channel, I often would see this specific Godzilla Sofubis, Godzilla 2000 that I've shown in a few of my videos. It's always sitting in Mandarake, and
Okay.
it's now worth uh, like a little over $1,000. It's I bought it at MegaCon in Orlando for, I think he asked me for $90 and I gave him like 75, and it was at the end of the convention because that was all I had.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then later I sold it to Mandarake just because I didn't have space. It had a really big tail and I just wasn't into the Godzilla 2000 at that time. And they paid me like almost $500 for it. And I was like, Jesus. And wow, that was a good investment.
Woo!
And then, find out, of course, they're going to sell it for 1,000. So now that's one of those things I kind of regret. I'm like, now I'm not going to afford to buy it back again. But
Wow.
yeah, that was from a MegaCon. But like back then, there really weren't a whole lot of Japanese things. So like I used to bring Godzilla toys with me to sell at the convention, even though that's not what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to be promoting like my manga work and the comic book. But I had on the side of my table, I had a bunch of Bandais and things that I was, selling to people. That's how I kind of got started with like getting more into buying and selling toys, which I've kind of slowed down on. But for a good while, like I was just buying and selling all the time. But yeah,
Ah, nice.
I miss but like I don't know, the conventions in the US have a very different feeling than like the conventions here. I think the like the gaming conventions here and the manga conventions, Comic-Con, have a similar feeling to like the US conventions, like with the cosplay and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm more into just the toy conventions, which I know there are some in the US, but I've never been to any.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I went to I did the PowerCon convention like a month ago,
Yeah,
and
oh, I would have loved to go to PowerCon.
yeah, and it's so fun. I mean, it must be like really different. I mean, I know a few Japanese, and they're not like that easygoing, and it's not very. I mean, they don't talk with you a lot, and in PowerCon, I had a lot of fun, and people are very like cool, and it's not like a big con, so you can
Yeah.
just talk to anyone, and they will give you like a really good price. And I mean,
Yeah.
there's
That's
like
fun.
a really nice community around the convention, so
Yeah.
that's what I love about and maybe in Japan, I don't know, maybe it's kind of different.
No, there's I don't know where was PowerCon held?
Anaheim.
Anaheim. Okay. I don't know, like the conventions here, like it's like haggling or talk, like making small talk with the uh the dealer is not really a thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can try haggling sometimes or throwing out a price if you bundle stuff, but yeah, I don't know. It's usually just like grumpy old men that are just like nah, or they'll if they know if they see a foreigner coming, they will often just jack up the price anyway. The last Superfest, I tried to buy, or I ended up still buying it. It's buried back there. It's way up there. It's the Haruo Nakajima Sofubi, like where he's sitting in the Godzilla legs, and I found it for a
Uh-huh,
really
uh-huh.
great price. And the guy told me the price, and then this old man came up behind him and like knocked him on the shoulder, and he was like whispering, and he was like blah 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 gaijin blah blah blah, and he told him a higher price, and then he was like, sorry,
No
I need this
way.
price, and I was like, no 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 no, you told me this price.
You told me about that. I know Japanese.
Yeah yeah yeah, no, sorry.
Wow.
Anyway, so I still got it. So. But it's I don't know. There's a lot of like uh soft racism towards anyone that's not Japanese here. But
Okay.
it's very polite. It's not like
Yeah.
it's a
Mm-hmm.
polite
You
form.
don't. Maybe you will never notice if you're like a gaijin, right? You
No,
will never
if you
notice that
don't
they're.
understand what they're saying, you probably wouldn't notice it
Yeah,
because
I have a friend, and he got married with a Japanese girl, and I remember this like if it was yesterday. He told me like Japan is really cool until you learn Japanese. And I was like,
that's why
really?
that's why
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
like to know enough. I like to know enough, but then I can also play ignorant when I know what's going
Yeah.
on, but I don't have to get into a full interaction. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of view it like I've been here for 15 years, so obviously I speak a bit of Japanese, but I never formally studied it. So, and my wife's Japanese. Both of my kids are completely fluent in Japanese. Currently, I'm a teacher,
Wow.
and I'm not allowed to speak Japanese at my regular day job. So that kind
Oh,
of also makes it hard. But I kind of feel like I know enough to get around. I know enough to have a basic conversation, but like the kanji, the difficult kanji, and the difficult like scientific or political words or like words that I would never use. I have no idea what some of that stuff is. So it's almost like I don't know. I feel like I'm in a science fiction world that's like a very friendly science fiction world, like where I've traveled to
mm-hmm,
this
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
this faraway place that's safe, and I understand the culture, but like there are a lot of things that are still mysterious, and I like to have that balance where I have a little bit of mystery, but I also understand what's going on to some degree. That's a nice comfort
Really,
zone
really.
for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Totally. Really cool. Yeah, it's so funny because I remember when I first went to Japan, I have some Japanese friends, right? When used to work for Disney, and so I usually ask them like, can you tell me the meaning of that sign? Oh yeah, it says something, right? And what's the meaning of that? So there were like so many times when they told me like I can't read that, and I was like, but you're Japanese and we're in Japan, so what?
Yeah.
Why? Why you can read? I don't know. Maybe I mean it could mean this, but I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
for
Like
me, it was
same
so strange because
same
you're
thing for my
Japanese.
wife.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's common. Like a lot of kanji, if they don't use it or if it's got multiple meanings that aren't common, they don't know. And these days, everyone just looks it up on their phone. It's just like spelling. Like, even though I teach English and teach writing classes, I still don't remember how to spell some words, and I'll have to check it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny. And I don't know if you watch a video when where I went with Rodrigo to like an antique market, and
Uh-huh.
I found this like Akira Toriyama autograph sketch. So this guy, he wanted like $1,400, like it was like 140,000 yen, I think.
Uh-huh.
That makes sense, yeah.
$140.
And I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, sorry, $1,400, right?
yeah. So it was like a signed sketch,
Right.
by Akira Toriyama, and I was like, I mean, it's not like a bad price, because I mean, in Mexico it's impossible to find it, and maybe even on eBay it's maybe you will buy it, but it will be like a fake or something. So it was like,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I'd be
there's
worried
yeah. So I asked him like, do you have like a certificate that this is authentic? And he said like, no, we don't do that in Japan. I was like, no, I know, but I mean, it will be cool to have like, yeah, but we don't do that. I mean, this is my
Right.
collection, so I actually at the beginning he was a little bit rude. He said like, I actually don't care if you don't trust me. Like I know they're not fake,
Yeah,
because
he got offended, yeah.
yeah. So because I went to the conventions, and the mangakas they draw that for me, so I know it's an original. And I was like, no, okay, I just asked because in America, I mean the continent, it's like we actually do that. Like it's better to have like this certificate that it's
Yeah.
authentic, right? And so I started like talking with him, and I am from Mexico, and then I like Dragon Ball and blah, 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 blah. So he started to be like nicer with me. So at the end, I said like, I really like it, but do you accept like cards? And he said like, no, I don't accept the
Yeah.
cards, just cash, right? So I went to the ATM, and the ATM didn't have money, and so at the end I had like, I think it was like $400, and I was like, that's all I had. Nah, it's impossible. I was like, man, like really, I really want it. And so we talked like for an hour, and at the end he was like, okay, give me the 400. It was, for me, it was like, he was an old guy. He was not like my friend or anything, but
Yeah.
maybe for him it was so funny that I started like talking to him, and I was like just saying, I don't know, stupid stuff. And at the end he was like, just take it. I was like, really? Yeah, man, take it. I was like, wow. So in the channel, so many people they were saying like, that's not an original one, because
Yeah.
he just gave it to you for $400. So it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's not the price for that. So I went to the San Diego Comic Con like 2 months after that. So I brought the sketch with me, and there's like a company that like
You authenticate it.
it's called like PSA DNA. So
Mhm.
they check so they validated that it was an original, and they put the hologram and all that. So I was like,
Nice,
so
man.
you should trust people, like Japanese people. They're not like us.
Yeah.
So it was
There's not people trying to rip you off. I mean, there are people that will like try to get try to get a higher price out of you if you're a foreigner, but like they're not going to sell you fake shit here, or like it's not. This is one of the few places where everything's pretty genuine. Like when you go somewhere to buy stuff, you're not going to get ripped off from Japanese vendors. That's why there's also like there's not that haggling. Everything's very straight. Like this is the item, this is the price, and yeah, there's not a lot of mistrust or just like shady people selling stuff. So yeah, it's interesting.
yeah, it's funny, and I think it's obvious that you have evolved when you started collecting to what you collect now. But
Yeah.
what are you collecting like right now?
So like yeah, for a while it was all Dragon Ball and Godzilla, right? For a long time. And I basically own like everything that ever was made by Dragon Ball stuff, like vintage now. So I had to kind of stop, and with the Dragon Ball, And then I went really hard into Evangelion the last couple of years, and I started the Evangelion group on Facebook, and now I've pretty much got all the stuff I wanted from that until something else comes that's new. I always pick up something new. But I've been collecting a lot of Kamen Rider Black, ZO, just because that's like something I finally watched for the first time this year. Those early 90s, late 80s Kamen Rider series, because they were not like, you couldn't watch them when I was growing up. Even now there's not like licensed international releases of most of these things. I think Black got releases in South America, from what I understand, like some of the other series, but like it was, but I really like the design of these particular characters. Like here's one of the knock them all down first. Like I swore in one of my older videos, I was like, I'm never gonna collect figure arts and all that shit. But here I am, collecting figure arts.
That's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, and I've even got the updated version, which is like slightly different.
Oh.
Made it look a little bit better. But the price on this one was like 2,000 yen, and this was 9,000 yen. But there's a noticeable difference, but it's not that noticeable.
I like the V3. I think it's my favorite.
V3, yeah, they're more the early Showa stuff. Yeah, a lot of my friends like the V3.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the update for the SHFigures too.
Yeah, for the one.
They only have the really old stuff. Yeah, right. But it's, I mean, SHFigures are getting so expensive right now, and I mean, in Dragon Ball, it's like they're like doing like reissues every year, every 6 months. So it's impossible to collect right now for me. It's like I used to have like a really good collection, but now it's like I will never end. This will never end, and it's not fun anymore, right? Because
that's when you got to take a break and move on to something, and then maybe later. Like once I got all of the, since I'm not collecting all the Kamen Riders, I'm only collecting those specific ones, and with the exception of Black, like Zeto and the villains from those series, and then to some degree Black and Black RX, were all designed by the same person, Keita Amamiya, and he also designed. My recent obsession is Zayram, but there's only one figure of Zayram. There's only one, and there's a model.
Really?
Kit. Yeah, it's this.
Wow.
So if you find this on eBay, even in Japan too, you're gonna pay like $500 or close to $500 for this thing.
Wow.
It's pretty wild. But you'd think that they'd have like more toys of this, but there's an animated series as well. But there's only a vinyl model kit for the animated series. But I highly recommend the live action movie. It's tokusatsu. It's directed by that guy. Like after he did was it? No, it's before he did Kamen Rider Zeto. This is like a standalone movie, and it takes place in 1990 Tokyo, and it's got these like very neon and pastel color palette like Tokyo. It looks great, but then the characters are transported into this copy version of the world that's like got walls like a video game that they can't escape, and there's no people inside, and it's just these two doofy Japanese dudes, this warrior chick, and that creature. And he's just trying to kill all of them, and it's really badass movie actually. Like the special effects are I have it over here somewhere. But there's also an animated series called Idia. So this is the movie Zayram.
Okay.
And then they did an animated series that's a prequel called Idia, which is actually pretty easy to find.
Okay.
But the movie's a little harder to find. But yeah, all created by the same guy that designed suits and creatures for the late 80s, early 90s Kamen Rider series. He also designed Garo, if you're familiar with Garo.
No. Garo.
Your viewers, I'm sure, probably might know who Garo is. I'm not a fan of the Garo stuff, but it's pretty popular, it seems like, here. It's like a golden.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you recognize it if you saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
aside
just
from the Kamen Rider stuff, I've just since the Masters of the Universe Origins have been coming back out. Like that's like my first action figure was He-Man, so got to get back into that stuff. And then my mom helped me get the Mosquitor that just came out, so I was I've never owned a Mosquitor before, so I was happy to get that. And also, this is a really special new Origins figure that just came out. And I don't know if anyone else owns this one yet. It's this one.
It's a Japanese exclusive, right? Maybe.
Yeah, it's Japan exclusive. Childhood Prince Adam in pain.
Yeah. So you bought the new battle armor He-Man from Origins, the Target exclusive.
Yeah, this one.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's a really badass figure. I will have an unboxing tomorrow. Like my next video is about that figure, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that's one thing where you guys in North and South America luck out, because it's really hard to get any He-Man stuff here. There's nothing. There's almost nothing. Like even vintage.
Yeah.
You guys have all the cool bootlegs. I have to pay a lot of money to get all of this stuff like imported, and when you find them here, the prices are ridiculous. Even for new releases, they're fairly common in the US. So yeah, that's where you guys luck out.
You don't own any of the Takara He-Man figures?
I don't. I just have I have some of the memorabilia, like the old where did I have it? I have some like promotional material for it, but the only thing I have is the Super 7 filmation box where they reissued it, but I stuck a vintage Skeletor inside my box.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's still better. If you guys, for those of you who can't read Japanese, it actually says 7.
Okay.
Sorry, Super 7 right there. This is Super 7 in Japanese.
Oh. Because I think Takara and Aurimat in Mexico, they were the only ones that sold the He-Man figures in a box. Like usually they were blisters.
Yeah.
Like everywhere.
Was it
I think
Glaslite or Glaslite or whatever?
Aurimat.
Oh, okay.
That's the Mexican like factory that used to make He-Man, and we in Mexico you could find the He-Man stuff, but they came in boxes, like the Takara one. So
I've seen some. Like I used to watch a bunch of Rodrigo's old videos when he had a lot of the He-Man stuff, but it's been a year since I've seen it all, so I don't remember it all. But yeah, I remember seeing all of that stuff. Yeah, you guys have some really cool stuff in Mexico regarding Master of the Universe.
Yeah, we love that. Yeah, it's. I think they were like really good times because there were actually factories in Mexico or in Brazil or whatever, in Argentina, that made the toys, right? So it was so good, and I really miss those times because not everything was made in China, right? So you could find like any stuff, but made in your country. So I think that was I think a really cool thing for us that grew in the 80s, I think.
Yeah, that's one thing about Japan too. Like there were a lot of toys being made here up until the 90s. But yeah, now that's the great thing about Sofubis is that it's the only form of toy that's still made here, and people prefer them to be made here. But but China has their own factories that do a lot of Sofubis, and there's a lot of makers in the U.S. And I know like Mexico has like a lot of blow molds and stuff, but are there any soft vinyl toys being made in Mexico or South America?
Yeah, there was like a really small convention in Mexico, like maybe around maybe like 2 months ago. I couldn't make it to that convention, but there were so many people like actual like Sofubis designers, like Mexican
Yeah,
Sofubis designers, and
that's
they yeah, it's starting to be a thing. But
yeah. I know I've seen a lot of the painters, like a lot of the painters that do great work there, but yeah, I hadn't seen any makers specifically. But yeah, I wanna make a blow mold toy. I really want to make like a Mexican blow mold style
that will be
toy as
so
well.
fun.
Like I love those.
so so now that you mentioned that, you're doing like some toys
Yeah.
right now.
So um,
That's awesome, and like it's like a dream come true, like for any collector, right? To have
yeah.
their own toy line. And
Right. Well, so this is not just me. This is not my toy line, but I'm one of the key players in it. So I'll explain a bit of the background behind the whole thing.
uh-huh.
So a friend of mine named Steven, who is currently based in Korea, but we met after he had basically seen some of my YouTube videos, and he had an office based in Kichijoji near Toy Cats. And if you guys have seen any of my videos, Toy Cats was like one of my favorite places to go to, and I took Rodrigo there on the Mad Hunter channel a few years back. But we used to hang out there, and then I got to know Steven a bit better, and he's really into toys, like all the same toys that I'm into, and more. He's like super toy geek, and he was looking to like start making Sofubis. Well, so over time, like he would share like what he was doing, and I was interested, and he would get information from me, like what I thought about things, and over time we basically developed a relationship, and basically I started just working more and more with him, and now I am the production manager for the entire operation, and
Wow.
I have some say in some things, but pretty much all of the designs for the soft vinyl toys are designed by Steven, and we're gonna have more than just one thing. We've got a whole bunch of toys we're producing, and the cool thing is that each of our toys are based on their own comic books. So we have actually already created at least one issue for each of our characters, and each story has multiple characters. So there will be potential for multiple soft vinyl toys to be made from each comic book. But currently, we've got. I'll show you here. The one we're releasing later this month as a lottery, and this will be kind of the reveal for this one because it hasn't really been posted anywhere, is this guy right here. There's been teasers for it and some of the unpainted versions, but like this is our first release for our character Zero, the Fashion Trooper. So he's basically, he's basically a stormtrooper that's very fashionable, and so this release we kept it just really simple and cool and dark, and so it's got Zero on his back. And the reason his name is Zero is because his Japanese name is Jiro, and his name written out in kanji, when you say it out loud, sounds like zero. So it's kind of just a play on words.
Oh, nice.
And this figure will have multiple versions. So we actually made more than just one head for this. And if you notice, this head actually can twist and become a completely different head. But yeah, if you check out our Instagram and some of our early posts, you can see we have 3 or 4 different heads for this figure that will be coming out in the future in different colorways and things. Yeah. So yeah, we're excited to release this guy at the end of this year. Up until this point, we've done some collaborations with Ichiban Boshi and some of his characters. So this is our first like original character that has a comic book that's coming directly from us. So yeah, that'll be exciting. I get to bag and staple the headers for all of these this week.
A dream come true, yeah.
Yeah, it's really exciting, but yeah, when you get to that, you're like, oh wait, I've got to put all these together now. But yeah, it turned out really, really well. Very excited. But yeah, we've got a lot of different versions of this character planned. We've already got some in production, so just keep your eyes peeled. And again, if you want to see like the different teasers and some other things we've shared, you can follow our Instagram at RX Nemesis. So yeah, that's the company name right here. And Steven also posts a lot of things that you won't see on that page. So if you go to the top of the page, it has his name linked as well, and you can see things that we won't normally post on the main page.
So hopefully I got it correctly. I wrote it in the comments. RX at RX Nemesis, right?
Yeah, RX underscore Nemesis for Instagram.
Underscore. Okay.
Yes. And then Fashion Trooper has his own comic. You can also read the comics for free on the website. If you go to rxnemesis.com, which is also linked on Instagram, there's a tab that says comics. And we're currently reformatting the comics page so that you can open a digital comic that you can flip through. But currently you can just load them and read them as you scroll down. But they're all free. And you can get a better idea of the characters. And then another one we've got coming out, we have a comic called Shadow Clan, which is kind of like Japanese folklore Avengers crossed with like Doctor Who, kind of like that.
Okay.
We've got episode issue 0 is on the website, and it explains like the origin of the characters. But we have the first full issues coming out very soon. But the Sofubi we created for that series is this. This is Daruman. So he's based on the traditional Japanese Daruma. This is just a shot in flesh, but he's huge. If you're like a He-Man collector, or if you like chunky toys, this is your guy right here. But yeah, he's very articulated. All of these points are articulated. His wrist swivel. So we're trying to make these as cool as possible. And the same thing with the Fashion Trooper. His arms are separated in the middle, so they're articulated, and you can actually swap out this arm for another arm that we've included.
Whoa!
And I've got
this. Do you know how many are you doing per? I mean, wow!
Slime green. Yeah, these are just tests. Like when we were testing the mold. So those aren't two colors that we have planned at the moment. So each release will have different numbers. Basically the title for this guy is 0 Dark 30. So initially we were going to do a run of 30, but we ended up doing a little bit more just so that we can keep people happy. So, but yeah, just like any Sofubi, they're going to be limited numbers, under 100. So, but we're going to try to have releases out like every month or two, just to keep it going, keep the momentum going. And then we've also got another figure, which I don't have with me, but I should have soon. I should be shooting a promotional video for it, called Chevy. And he's a giant robot. So if you took these, and if you glued 4 of these together, if you glued 4 of these together and then stretched it out, like that's how big it is. It's huge.
No way.
It's massive. And like we have pictures of it, but the pictures don't quite do it justice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's huge. But with that one, it'll be very, very limited, just because it's like back-breaking work just to pull the mold. So, but yeah, that's exciting too. But we will have the comic for that up next month to gear up for the promotion for it. So, but yeah, we've got a lot of stuff, in the pipeline. We've got some collaborations coming up with some people, including collaboration with Reelhead, as we've been producing little retro 3 3/4 action figures.
Whoa.
Man. So, yeah, these guys should be dropping early next year. We've got a lot coming out before then. We would like to get them out before that, but it'll probably be early next year. They're pretty much almost finished in the factory. They're just being painted currently. But yeah, that's really exciting. That's been a long time coming. We've been working on that project for a long time. So yeah, it's been. I've learned a lot about action figure production, because that's completely different from soft vinyl production. So I've gotten this past year and a half, I've gotten just a complete crash course on how all of these things are like actually made. You know, I've always known the basics, but now I know every single step for both. So it's been interesting to learn.
And they are all made in Japan, or?
So all the soft vinyl toys are made in Japan,
Okay.
and painted in Japan. But the Chaos Man figures, we initially wanted to. So these are all sculpted in Japan. Like the original sculpt was all done in Japan, and we're doing everything else in Japan. But when we went to try to produce these in Japan, because we really wanted to produce these in Japan, that's the reason why you can't, is because the production costs here for stuff like this is so ridiculously high that there would be no way we could actually, even like break even, like trying to produce it. So, these are made in China, and they're stamped on the legs, that they're made in China. But we basically tried to use the best factory we could find, because these are real head. These need to be really top quality. So we looked for the best factory possible, and I think that the quality on these things is better than like what you would see with even like Super 7, something like that. Like these are really nice to hold in the hand, and also they also have swappable parts, so like you can pop off arms, and if you bought multiple, you could change them out. And we also did a Microman style. We put screws in the back on purpose, like Microman.
Oh, nice.
So that if you wanted to, you could take them apart and swap the heads and arms around.
Very cool. And
Yeah.
So I mean, if there's a guy from Mexico that wants to buy them, they will like announce them on your Instagram, and
yeah, these will all be announced ahead of time. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And
Yes.
you will send it like anywhere in the world.
Yeah, we ship anywhere. I think. I don't know about Antarctica. So if you're watching from Antarctica, I don't think we ship
I'm so
there.
sorry. Yeah, there's a guy here, Ramiro from Antarctica. I'm so sorry, man. So sorry.
But yeah,
So
I mean, even if someone misses out on the lottery, like I said, we're going to be pumping out a lot of stuff, so there'll be opportunities for everyone to try to get something. And with the Chaos Man figure, we're producing high numbers of those, so those should be a little bit more easy to get a hold of.
Easier to find.
Yeah.
And so I have seen your videos, and there's like a toy that I think you designed. It's like a Dragon Ball, Evangelion, Microman mashup.
Yes. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that guy.
Tiene, digo,
knocking down stuff. Yeah, I've got the prototype and then a test print here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so this was the prototype with I hand painted this one, and the head was not the final sculpt. So this head was just like a preliminary head. So basically we took a Spy Magician body, reworked it a little bit, because this is not just a kit bash. This is like a printed figure. And then we took Eva Unit 1's arms, modified them slightly. If you look closely, it's not exactly the same. And then we try to make I basically took, in the original prototype, I took a Goku Keshi head, and I just stuck on a paper clip and jammed it in his neck and painted it silver. And then we did a 3D render off of that. And then you can see a full animation, of the 3D render. But here's the final product as it is now. It might get modified a bit more, but like the head is the final sculpt.
Whoa.
But we try to give it like like a cyber, kind of polygon look. Yeah, but it may still end up changing slightly. But this is a work in progress, and since we've already got like half a dozen toys we've already got like ready to go that we're trying to get out there first. We'll put this in the back burner and have this guy out next year, hopefully. And initially, I was planning on doing it as just like a short run of resin toys, but I think we might actually step it up and do it, legit. So that'll be exciting as well for me, since that's my first self-designed, figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got a whole backstory for it and stuff. So maybe we'll have comics in the future. You know, fingers crossed.
So cool. So cool. I'm so hyped about that. Like it's so cool to
Yeah, well, you're like one of the few people that's into Microman, Evangelion, and Dragon Ball. So I
yeah, so
made
for
this
me it's
for
like
you.
yeah, it's a perfect toy. For
Yeah.
me and for Ramiro from Antarctica, but he will not get it too. Yeah. I'm so
So
sorry.
if you guys look at the promo for that, his name's Spy Warrior 1. And the toy line, because hopefully it's going to be more than just one figure, is the Tokyo Bash Boys. And you can see the storyline and the full 3D render for the figure.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. Really, really. It's, as I told you, it's like a dream come true for people who like or love toys to actually have like their own toy company. It's crazy, man. It's
It's
so cool.
wild. Yeah, I think early before I must have been like right out of high school. One of my friends that was a musician that I used to hang out with all the time, his older brother used to design toys for McFarlane Toys back when they were producing like the first like highly detailed like Spawn toys back in like 2000, the year 2000. And I was like, man, that would have been, how did he get to do that? I was always asking, how did he get to work at a toy company designing toys? And yeah, that was like a dream of mine.
Dreams come true.
Yeah,
Dreams come true, man.
It's come true. Like working at a manga studio was wild, but then I realized that wasn't for me. And yeah, like doing, I love making videos too. Like whenever I can try to make videos, I want to try to make them, you know, I don't know. Like I've always been making videos of toys. Like even throughout junior high school and high school, I used to make videos with my friends of my toys, like little scenarios and things. So still being able to do that, like as something I can go home and just do in the weekends is also so much fun. And getting to interact with people all over the world like you and all the people that watch our channels, like that's also a dream to come true. Because I remember forcing my friends to watch the videos that I made like the weekend before on my VHS player. And they were just like, "Oh, this one again? Jesus, Jeremy."
No, but it's so cool, and I think there's like a very thin line between like making videos about for you or what you like, and then like making videos for the people. Because I mean, I have seen your videos, and sometimes they're like they're not like the common videos that you find on
oh no,
on YouTube, right?
Some videos are very niche and they'll get almost no views. They'll get like a few hundred views max, and then I'll be so excited about those, and then I'll oh my god, like my highest viewed video that's got like 20,000 whatever views was just like a video that I shot with zero editing where I walked around gashapon machines like when I was grocery shopping. And it was just like a thing I did randomly, and it's like the highest viewed video I have. I'm like, why?
There you go. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you live in Japan, so it's for many people it will be like really easy to just like go around Japan and with your cell phone and look at this, oh look at that, oh look at this, look at that.
I've tried to do that more recently. If you've noticed, I've tried to do more hunts and things like that. They do better. Yeah, they do better than my niche. Like, look at all these vintage Japanese candy toy cars. People are just like, no, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, but the video design and you uploaded like there's like an Ultraman flying around the Tokyo sky, and it was so funny for me. It was like, oh, that's so cool, because really I really respect that, because when I do like unboxings or reviews, I want to do it like my way, not how the people do that, or so it's more difficult to have views and more followers because you want to do it your style, right? Not maybe the style that it will work, right? So I really respect that, man, and you I think you do like an awesome job, and you have a really cool videos.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot.
No. So, let me just speak a little bit Spanish to
Sure.
so people know what I'm gonna do. Para los que no ubiquen a Jeremy de Tokyo Toy Bastard, suscriban al canal, la neta, está diciendo ahorita justamente, tiene unos diseños de video bastante diferentes a lo que uno haría normalmente. Entonces, denle un lente, una vista, porque la neta tiene muy, muy buenas cosas. Aparte, ya lo vieron, es a todo dar. Vamos a empezar, si quieren, con las preguntas. Si quieren ponérselas en inglés o en español, y yo las traduzco con mi pésimo inglés. Y el primero que justamente puso aquí una pregunta fue el criado malcriado. So, if people want to ask you something,
Yeah.
so can
Go ahead, guys.
Can we do that? Yeah. So,
Sure.
I mean, this one is in English, so it's easy for you. Es el criado malcriado. He's saying like, "Hey guys, how are you? Very interesting life. Ask how expensive is Japan compared to the United States?" And I already asked him, like in general, not like
Okay,
any toy
just
line
about
or...
anything. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, it just depends on what country you're coming from, I suppose. But yeah, compared to the United States, like, the yen value and the dollar value, if you look at it with like the decimal point, just over two zeros, it's pretty close. But like when you go to sometimes with restaurants, especially with like drinks or things, portions are smaller, but the prices are about the same. That's one big difference. Otherwise, like, prices aren't too far off. Like, it's not like somewhere like Singapore where like the prices seem like drastically more expensive. So, if you're staying like at a hotel in central Tokyo, there's places you can find that are relatively cheap, but it just depends on what location you're looking to stay in. I think that's going to be the biggest factor that would change price wise, are like locations for where you would stay. But everyday life type items are pretty much the same as the US. The only thing you have to factor in though is you have to take the train everywhere. So in the US, normally you would like rent a car or take taxis, buses, things like that. But here, if you get the train pass like early on, then you can pretty much go anywhere for a decent price. That's the big thing, is like knowing that you have enough with you to get where you need to go for the day, because you're not going to be walking. You're not going to be driving. You will be walking everywhere and jumping on and off trains all day long. Yeah.
But I mean, they have a really good train system, and
right. Yeah,
it's more efficient, right? I think
right.
so.
I don't.
Driving.
I've never lived anywhere that had a train system. Like, they had bus systems when I went to college, but so there's nothing for me to compare it to. I know there's not a lot of cities that actually have trains, so I don't know. Like, as far as like commuter passes and day passes or one-way tickets, I don't know how different the prices are, but like still, like just going around Tokyo for like, you can do like 1,000 yen, you could pretty much go anywhere you want for the day, so it's not bad.
Yeah. Entonces, espero que haya el creado ya Saiyan. La neta es que sí, Japón a mí se me hace muy, muy parecido. Siempre justamente lo comparo con Estados Unidos. Es muy parecido el costo de vida. So Juan, he's saying like he loves your videos.
Oh, thanks, Juan.
And Ramiro from the Antarctica, he's nah, kidding. But do you know this
Goto-san?
Sofubi painter? Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because he paints a lot of the stuff for pretty much all the big guys. I know he paints for Realhead. He paints for like, if you guys ever buy like the Myrosan minifigures, Goto-san paints a lot of those too. But I've actually never been to visit Goto-san, surprisingly. I've been invited to go meet him, but I haven't yet. Like, when during the Corona period was like when I've had the chances, but I just haven't gone. But yeah, I know he's old. He's getting up there. So, and
yeah,
I hope I can visit him before too long, because I know I'm surprised he's still kicking with all of those paint fumes he's inhaling on a daily basis at his age, especially.
I know, yeah, and he's a very awesome person.
Yeah.
The vibe that you feel when you enter his studio, it's like I know, like very peaceful, but you feel a lot of energy at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's I know if
Yeah, it
that
was
makes
like a lot
sense.
of fun.
It's
I've seen
yeah,
yeah, I've seen you did a video there, right?
yeah,
Yeah, you and Rodrigo and one or two other people I know that have filmed there, and yeah, it just always looks like such a chill, relaxing, friendly environment there. And he seems so
yeah,
yeah, genuinely just like a really nice guy.
totally. He's
Yeah.
an it will be awesome to have like your new Sofubis painted by.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've definitely discussed that. We haven't talked Goto-san yet, but yeah, that's something we would love to have done. Have him paint a line.
I know it's like a piece of history. It's it will be awesome. I think it's one of the most famous Sofubi painters. I mean, right now, I think so. So
Yeah,
yeah, it will be awesome to.
yeah, for sure.
Uh, so nostalgic. He's saying that keep making them art toys.
Yeah, thanks, Naz. Naz is a friend of mine in the States.
Oh,
Fellow
cool.
YouTuber. He's also a YouTuber. Oh
Okay.
no. I just knocked over my battle hopper and I think I broke it. I don't know.
No.
Figure arts battle hopper. No. I think it's fine. It's all your fault,
Yeah.
Naz. It's all your fault. Just kidding. I love you, Naz.
So I will
Yeah.
deposit you the $5 he gave me to I mean to find another piece
No,
of
that's all right. Don't worry about it.
So Juan Vasquez Vera, he's asking like, it's all your collection what we see in the background of your video, so there is more in storage.
Oh yeah, I have a whole room next door. This room, I can open it up a little bit here. This is like a tatami room, and there's boxes and boxes just stacked up with my collection that won't fit on display, and now currently inventory for RX Nemesis Sofubis, and also a bunch of other stuff like my kids' toys. But yeah, and you know, in my videos I always show this case, but actually these go all the way around. They come all the way down to this side. Like this whole area of my TV is filled with toys. This whole side of my desk is filled with toys. So I can give you a view of like my desk. Hey, look, it's us on TV there. Yeah, I just got shit all over the table. I just turned my light off on accident. Oh, I think no, there we go. And then like I just knocked all these over. I also have a large book collection, which you can only see some there, but I collect toy books, which I'm pretty sure you do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got stuff laying around everywhere.
So,
and
so you have two kids, right?
Yes.
And I mean, in Japan, people are more used to toy collecting that maybe in some other places. But what do they collect? Like
my kids.
Do they like the things you like, or maybe they're just like, no, Dad, you're crazy.
Oh no, my daughter thinks I'm a complete psycho, but my my son, she's almost a teenager now, so you know. But my son is at that age where he, you know, they're more into video games and stuff now, like kids these days. But he's at that age where he still likes to pick up a toy or action figure and play with it sometimes. But he prefers, you know, to play Fortnite. But recently he's been really into Spider-Man, which is not like nothing that I influenced. Like I loved Spider-Man when I was a kid, and I only have like one Spider-Man toy, but he just started watching Spider-Man on his own. So like today I actually picked him up a Spider-Man action figure and gave it to him. But he's not much of a collector. Like he'll usually tell me like, oh, I don't really need this, Dad, you know, you can have it, or, you know, you can sell this. I don't want it anymore. Like, but all the stuff that I'm like, I'm pretty sure you'll want to hold on to that. I tuck it away to the side. He was really big into Ninja Turtles like a few years ago.
Cool.
So he has quite a big Ninja Turtles collection that I've all just got stored over there. Yeah, I think that was like his main collection was Ninja Turtles and Dragon Ball. He's actually a huge Dragon Ball fan too. So we share Dragon Ball collections.
Nice. Yeah, because I mean, we wish sometimes that our parents they care about your toys when you were young. So maybe if you want to throw this, they will tell you that, right? No, keep it, or I will keep it for you. And I think you will love to have your toys where when you're like older, right? So that's a really cool thing.
Yeah,
you do there.
Yeah, my parents kept some of mine for me, like in a suitcase. I know they sold a bunch. Like I remember they sold most of my Masters of the Universe, like Castle Grayskull, and some of my early. So like all my stuff is gone, but I still had like a little case of a few Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles. It's like some Batmans. Like that was about it. But it was nice to have some of that stuff, later on.
Okay, yeah. And Takumi, he's asking like, how many Keshis do you have?
Too many. I don't even want to start pulling out boxes of Keshis, like uncountable amounts right now. Like but it's all, like I'm pretty sure I own almost every Dragon Ball Keshi that was ever produced, almost every Dr. Slump Keshi that was ever produced. And there's a lot. Like there's like whole encyclopedias of just Dragon Ball that don't even cover the entire series. That took me a good 5 years of like hunting every weekend. And then recently I've been getting the Kamen Rider Black and those kinds of Keshi, which there's not that many of those. Those are pretty easy to get. And then I pick up any weird random sculpts that I find that I think interesting, like some Kaiju, Ultraman. But yeah, I don't know, thousands of Keshi. And that's for really buying cool. And like buying giant junk bags and Yeah.
You start like collecting. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, I think you can get like a really good deal with these big.
Those Dragon Ball Keshi that have the armor and stuff. Those are getting ridiculously pricey now. Like I think there's a set of just, I don't know, it's like 5 or 6 with the armor. They're selling now at Microcan and Mandarake, and they're selling it for like $150. And
no way.
A few years ago, I could get one of those for less than $10, but now the prices are just insane. And even those books, the encyclopedias of those sell for like $20.
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
I know the feeling. So Alexander Zen, he's asking like, what advice would you give to a novice collector?
All right. Well, if you're just starting off collecting, I think any collector would just say collect what you like. I don't know, collect what you like. There's a couple ways you can go about it. The first way is to just collect what you like, which that could be anything, right? And I'm sure Ruben knows that sometimes you can go a little while just collecting a little bit of everything, and then before you know it, you have a lot of stuff and there's no like thread through any of it, and then you'll start saying like, oh, I don't really need this one anymore, or oh, I need to collect the rest of this line. And then it's nice to have things that you can maybe trade off or sell in the future, and then get more of the other thing that you want. But I don't know, it depends on how much space you have. Like if you want to start simple, start with like one series and then just build up, and then once that gets a little bit old, then find something different. But buying little bits of everything can be fun too, but it can get out of hand, and you can also get quite stressed. I've felt in the past when things start to just turn into clutter. So you've got to curate it. It's kind of like a bonsai tree. You have to carefully curate it. Even when it starts getting too massive, you have to start clipping little things here and there, and it's easier when it's more simplified, but it just really depends on the person and how much space they have to stick random pieces of plastic in their house.
Yeah, but I really like that comparison with the bonsai tree. It's totally. And I will add that you should study about what you like. Like, it's not just collecting.
Yep.
If you want to really get good stuff, you really need to study the series that you're collecting. So if you like Evangelion, you should really study about the old toys or the vintage Evangelion stuff. So
Yep.
maybe if you go to Mandarake one day, you will say, "Oh, they have these in stock," or so
Right.
that's how you get the deals or the good stuff, right? If you just buy stuff, you'll waste a lot of money, and
Right.
you will never like get the holy grails, I think.
Yeah, and to add to that, like for example, a great thing to do is to buy books that tell you what there is available. For example, like Evangelion, this is an old book that has all of the old Evangelion merchandise, so that you can see like, okay, I want to find that now, and then you can get the name in Japanese. Then you can, even if you can't read it, you can use a translator and copy and paste it and find it much more easier. So yeah, definitely, that's one way to do it. For sure. And yeah, it depends. Like if you're trying to buy Japanese toys specifically, then it's definitely a lot hard. It's a lot more difficult to do. But if you're, it's simple if you're able to collect things that are locally available to you. Obviously.
Yeah, totally. So Michael Myers, 1982, he's asking like, do you have like any Michael Myers figures or horror figures?
No, I do not. But that's interesting. I just watched a documentary about Halloween yesterday, and I was talking to my friend Chris about John Carpenter and Halloween. And my dad actually grew up in the same town as John Carpenter, with Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's where he's from. But I do not own any of the Halloween figures. I'm aware of some. Yeah, that would.
Okay.
Yeah, the only horror related stuff I have, I think, is like some Gremlins stuff, which I don't know if you count that, but I don't have any like slasher figures.
And do you collect Dragon Quest stuff? Like
Not really. I have a few. I like the designs, the Akira Toriyama designs, but I don't really collect actively. I've just got a few little things here and there.
He's saying, "Ha ha ha! We're just talking about Michael
Yeah.
Myers."
Yes, we were. That's Chris.
Okay, maybe this is gonna be like a very difficult because I know it's very late there, and I don't want to keep you like. But Takumi, he's asking, can you show us your favorite Keshis?
Man, that's a hard one. I'll run over here and grab a couple that I'll talk about. There's too many. It's too hard to pick a favorite, but I'll pick a couple that I really like.
Thank you so much. Keshimania. Dice Juan Vázquez.
Oh gosh, there's so many. Okay. I'll give you a little extra here. Hold on.
Thank you so much. And he's also like giving you an advice. He's saying like that you should produce like a Keshi book with everything you know.
Well, the guy, the manager that runs Microcon in Mandarake's at Nakano, he produces Keshi books, encyclopedias. I don't think I have anything down there, but they're called Kompu Rex. So if you guys look up Kompu Rex on Mandarake, you can find Keshi encyclopedias, but they're all different topics. But like I said, like the Dragon Ball one sells for like $200 on its own. So yeah, hopefully they'll like reissue those books at some point. Okay, I'm almost done here.
Compu Rex, like computer, like COP.
Yeah, it's like kompu, like computer, like CO. I think it's written out in katakana. KON. If you write it in katakana, it's kompu, and then Rex is written in English.
Okay. Igualmente, Alexander. Nostalgic is saying like advice for a novice collector: first find out why you're collecting. Is it to resell? Yeah, that's very important. Or is it for you? Is it to get nostalgia feels? Or are you a huge fan of something in particular? Yeah, totally. Yeah, like there are many people that they just collect because it's a thing now, and you will waste a lot of money because maybe in a few years, or maybe less than a few years, you will start selling everything because you actually realize that you don't like what you're collecting. You're just buying that because many people are collecting. Yeah, so thanks for the advice.
All right, so I've made a bit of a mess, but it's all right. So
so sorry.
I pulled just a couple from the front of my case because I didn't want to dig out a bunch of stuff that was back there, but I got a little extra special bonus here.
Cool.
So here's two of my favorites. These are Crayon Shinchan Keshi, and these are from the early 90s, and these are cool because they came in a few different body sculpts, and they came with swappable pieces. So this one's got the Action Common mask, but you can take it off. And then this one's wearing a bra on his eyes.
Ooh.
That you can take that off and you can swap them around and match the color. Yeah, they're really fun. I have a few of these. These are just two that I grabbed. But I really like Crayon Shinchan. And I like Keshi that are just have a little bit of chunkiness to them. And anytime they have multiple colors that you can swap around, like I've got some Arale like that as well. I really dig it. This is another one. This is one of the Slam Dunk characters. And this one's really cool because it's a fully articulated Keshi that, well, his arm popped off. So he's got the articulation of like a Microman, but he's Keshi.
Wow.
I'm not like a big Slam Dunk fan, but I just really like the way this figure looks. And I've got some Dragon Ball ones like this too. I just don't know where they are.
And they came like that? I mean, or you needed to buy like many parts and then build it?
These would come, these were like sold, I believe, in candy boxes, like with candy, and they would be on like little sprues, like model kits, and you'd have to just peel them off and stick them. But yeah, these are it's all rubber Keshi. Now here is some of my Keshi collection. I'm trying to organize it all and put it into these like little like jewelry organizing boxes. So here's like my Kamen Rider black collection so far, at least some of it. So you've got all the blacks, the bikes, the monsters. Here is just to select some of my little bit rarer Godzilla Keshi. It's hard to see with my light died, so I can't give you. Here are some of the micro-sized Dragon Ball Keshi, which are often a bit harder to find because they're really small.
Okay.
And then you get into the armored ones.
Whoa.
Which I have tons of.
Wow.
And these are all like stacked. There's like 3 in each capsule. You got more armored ones.
Wow. I didn't know there were like many
there's a lot
sizes of the
these are the
armor ones.
The bigger metal armored ones. And these are the multicolored articulated ones.
Whoa.
And these are some of the more pricey ones. I did a short video like early last year where I think I showed the different sizes and what each of the series names were. Yeah, there's some more. But yeah, like I started collecting Keshi because of the Dragon Ball armored Keshi. Those were like my first jumping off point because there were just so many, and I kept finding different ones, and you know, it's just a big deep rabbit hole. But now I find myself collecting anything that looks kind of cool. But there's a lot of popular Keshi lines like Necklace Fortress, which is like a horror fantasy based Keshi line that gets really expensive now. That's really popular with Japanese collectors. Some more Godzilla. I don't know. It's hard to see all this stuff up close. I like when they're just really colorful. Like if there's lots of varieties of colors, then I like to collect them. As you can see with all the stuff behind me, that's like one criteria I have for my toys. Mostly that they have to be colorful.
Yeah, that's the thing with Keshis, right? It's beautiful.
Yes.
And Juan is asking if there's like any Gamera Keshis.
Yes. Oh man, I had a rare boxed one that's still not even open in the package, but yeah, here's a Yamakatsu Gamera Jumbo Keshi.
Whoa, beautiful.
I've also got Gyaos over there somewhere. There's not as many Gamera Keshi. There's only half a dozen different kinds of those.
And no, nostalgic. He's asking if I collect Keshis. No, I wish, but no, I'm too late for that. It will be
never too
overwhelming.
late.
It's so difficult. There are some lines, right? That right now I'm starting to collect like maybe it's. Do you know these American toy designers called the Four Horsemen? They used to design stuff for Super 7 and
they designed the Masters of the Universe classics, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just starting to collect one of his toy collections. It's called Mythic Legions, and and they made like a tribute to Masters of the Universe. So they made this He-Man and Skeletor in like a medieval kind of way, and it's
cool.
They're so good, but I was so late with this collection, right? There's more than 100 figures now, and it's like it's impossible to collect them. So there are so many collections that if you don't buy them in the correct time, you will waste a lot of money.
I don't know a whole lot about them, but I know actually going back to nostalgic here, on his channel he filmed one of the toy cons. I think it was New Jersey, and the Four Horsemen had a table there, and they had a huge line of people in it. So I can tell that they're very popular.
Yeah. In PowerCon, they were there, and there were not so many people like talking with them. It was strange.
Yeah, especially because I don't know. They were all
had like two
Pixel Dan.
Maybe.
But which, by the way, I have his He-Man book. His He-Man book is amazing. This thing is an amazing book.
Yeah.
But it makes me want to spend more money.
I know.
I want to have that
one. And as you said, it's not that easy to find He-Man stuff in Japan. So.
Right.
But
but no one. I do have the only Japan exclusive tortured child He-Man there. So.
Yeah.
That is 100% made in Japan.
I know. Yeah. It's one of one, right?
One of one.
Yeah. So it's you have like a beautiful collection, and it's nice to be. I think you're very authentic, and that's the best thing for me. Like when you find people that they just don't have like a YouTube channel, because everybody has a YouTube channel right now, and they actually care about toys, and they respect the designs, and you can feel this thing inside you. I at least for me, it's a good thing that I can feel that you really like this stuff, and that's really there's like your key inside, your toy key.
Thank you very much.
No, but that's
I
really cool,
appreciate it,
man,
man.
and it's so good to know people like you. And ¿alguien tiene alguna pregunta? We'll have just like one more question for you, and I will
Okay,
leave
sure.
you sleep because it's I know it's very very late for you.
Yeah, I'm a night owl,
Um,
so, right? Don't worry.
um, uh, 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 okay, so Michael Myers, he's asking like, this is like always like a fun question to ask, like, what figures you will never sell?
Figures I'll never sell. Well, I've learned my lesson the hard way about selling figures that I regret later. Yeah, at this point, like, there was probably a couple year period, like maybe just the last 2 years, not this year so much, where I had like my collection had just gotten so out of hand that I was every weekend I was kind of chiseling away at it and selling little bits of it, and bringing more stuff home. So a lot of the stuff, pretty much anything that's still here, is stuff that I haven't considered selling. But if there were, oh well, I'll tell you the easiest thing that I will never sell is this. Hopefully, I don't cause a massive avalanche in the process. Because this is one toy that I've always wanted, and it took me long enough, to actually find one for an affordable price, and that is original 1966 Myrosan Godzilla. That's the only reason I would ever sell it is if I found a better one, like a better conditioned one. But this one's like really good condition.
Yeah, and he has some silver, right? Is it true
not,
that
they're they
with
weren't
more silver?
They weren't very consistent with the silver.
Expensive.
Yeah, the more silver they get, more expensive. Yeah, and there's also a couple, color variants that are a lot more expensive. But yeah, this was one toy that I wanted forever. Like even a short comic that I drew back in 2005. Like I had, mentioned this toy in that. So yeah, that's one that I'll never sell. There's probably like one toy from every collection, that I would probably never sell. But how about you? Do you have a toy that you would never sell?
I'm always saying this as the like old guy stuff, but for me it's like, I mean, it's just, if I need to sell something, I will never hesitate if it's for a family member or for my wife or something, right? So for me it's like for me it's more important the people than the actual. So that's my I always say that, but there are obviously some things that I will sell.
Yeah, it'd be
like
further off. Yeah.
And I have like these vintage Boba Fett. It's like a Mexican Boba Fett that you could take the rocket from it.
Oh wow!
And they messed up because these toys, they were made in Mexico, and I think they had the figure, because the vintage, I don't know how to say it, but they glue it with a supersonic machine,
right? Yeah.
And so they glue it, and they didn't put the rocket. So they realized about that, like when they're gonna pack it, and they did like
drill the hole a bit
like
bigger.
A crack there. Yeah. They drill something, and they put the rocket, and they just like turn it like, oh, we're gonna sell like that way. And then the kids start realizing that they could take the rocket.
But there's no spring mechanism inside, right? So you can't fire it.
Yeah.
I guess you could customize.
You can fire it, but it's the only one in the world that
that's
it was
cool,
sold
man.
like that.
Oh yeah, and anything Boba Fett. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, and the Mexican, the UGD stuff is getting really, really expensive, and so I had that with the AFA
Yeah,
acrylic,
graded.
great and everything. So yeah, I think it's so expensive. I mean, I have seen some on eBay going for like $9,000 or something. It's crazy.
Jeez, man.
And
Yeah.
also my Messenger Z from Bandai, the Sofubis, with the clear hands, rocket hands.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really love that Sofubi, the Messenger. And yeah, I think those two are really cool. The 1966 Ultraman Sofubi, the Kamen Rider, the V3 from Bandai, also the Gojira, the big one, the big size Gojira. I think you have one, but it's like
I have the Bullmark,
the green one, right? It's like
I have the glow in the dark reissue.
that one.
Yeah,
so
that's
that one
I probably can sell. I really like the aesthetic of that figure. I like glow in the dark.
I know, yeah.
Oh, by the way,
beautiful.
I forgot to tell you. You know, today before we had the live stream, before I went to do stuff in Shinjuku, I went to a Myrosan event this afternoon.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they had a pop-up lottery, and today they released the very first jumbo-sized Jet Jaguar Sofubi.
No
Yeah,
way.
so but it was a blind lottery. So
Uh-huh.
you know, and I have friends that asked me to grab some stuff, and I basically just bought a bunch. So I've got essentially one of each of everything.
No way, really?
They're not painted. They're just blanks. But I'll show you them real quick. You'll be the first people to look at these.
Wow.
So, you got the here's the they had a flesh version.
Wow.
And I'll show you the comparison here. Because I've got a blank Bullmark M1 version, so you can see the difference. Like the standard size. Yeah, this thing's huge.
Wow.
And
beautiful.
There's since this is a new sculpt, so they'll have like painted versions and versions with guts inside probably in the next couple months. So here's the clear smoke version.
Beautiful.
I think this is the one I'm probably going to keep for my own collection.
Glow in the dark. Yes.
Glow in the dark. Yeah. Glow in the dark.
Beautiful. Yeah.
There was they announced all of those. So like they posted those on their Instagram, but they had one that was blacked out that they didn't announce, and you had to just be lucky to get it. And I was lucky enough. But this will be going most likely to my fellow collaborator at RX Nemesis. So it's hard to tell on camera, but this is clear with rainbow glitter. I don't know how well you can see the glitter, but it's rainbow glitter inside. But yeah, since this is a new sculpt, there's going to be tons of different painted variants coming out later this year and early next year. So yeah, just let me know. Let me know if you want one.
I hate you now, because now I want one.
I go to almost every Myrosan pop-up event, so just let me know in advance. I can't do it for everybody, but for friends, I can help out sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time. And
no problem.
It was so cool to have this conversation with you. And really, you people haven't subscribed to his channel, do it right now. You have Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, right?
Yes. You can find me pretty much just Tokyo Toy Bastard on Instagram. Just one word smashed together. I've got a blog, which is basically just linked to most of my YouTube channel, but I wrote a bunch of articles years ago before I had a YouTube. So if you want to check those out, tokyotoybastard.blogspot.com. And you can find me right here on YouTube at Tokyo Toy Bastard.
Bien. Entonces suscríbanse, quien no lo ha hecho. La verdad es que vale mucho la pena. Tiene muy buen contenido. You have some stuff that you actually don't even talk. Like there's videos for everyone, and you can see just an Ultraman flying around Tokyo or something. So de verdad tiene muy buenos videos, tiene buen diseño de videos. Es lo que yo decía, que me encanta esa onda que tiene como de no hacer lo que hacen todos. Lo recomiendo muchísimo el canal, chéquenlo. La neta, mándenle ahí saludos en sus videos. Díganos que que lo vieron aquí con ToyMania. Y eso, está sacando, voy a tratar de resumir un poco, pero está sacando esos dos personajes. Imagínense que él creó junto con un colectivo de jugueteros para sacar esos juguetes este año. Entonces, estén atentos a esa gorra que tiene aquí, RX, o sea, RX Nemesis, así se llama.
RX Nemesis.
Chequenlo en Instagram, chequenlo con RX underscore el guión bajo Nemesis, así búsquenlo en Instagram y van a sacar sus juguetes de verdad que apoyen a la gente como él, que saque esos juguetes, porque créanme que pronto se van a evaluar. Estoy seguro de eso por todo el cariño que tiene él a los juguetes, por todo el amor que se siente. I'm telling them that they should buy your stuff right now because maybe in a few years they will regret. and we should support people like you, like when you really like know the people and they care about the toys. It's so good to always support us, right? It's I think that's like building this community. It's one of the most important things of being a collector.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for all the support and all the kind words. And yeah, man, I want to talk more with fellow collectors like you. And I hope that they open the borders back up to like normal tourists so we can actually hang out and, make some videos over here together.
It will be my pleasure. And I think they will open. I think at the beginning of next year or something. So probably we'll meet very, very soon in Japan.
Looking forward to it.
And thank you for your time, man.
No problem.
Have a really good night in Tokyo. And I don't know if you want to say something else.
No, guys, thank you. Please check out my channel if you like any kind of toys at all. Like I've got a huge variety, as Ruben said, and please check out RX Nemesis. Again, we have a bunch of free comic books you can read on our website, not on our Instagram, but you can see all of our toys and our upcoming lotteries on our Instagram page. But yeah, just keep checking my YouTube channel. I'll have some promos up for some of these new toys soon as well. And we got a lot of stuff coming very soon, so stay tuned. And hopefully I'll just have some other fun toy videos out as well. Thanks again for.
We're waiting for that. We'll look forward for that. And gracias, Alebrije. Alebrije, Alebrije Roger, he's like a hardcore Sofubis collector. He has really good stuff, and he's saying the Jet Jaguars are amazing. Thank you for showing us that. And Jonathan, nos están dando $10. Muchas gracias. Jonathan, vas a matar. Ya estoy despidiendo. Okay, so I don't know if you have like room for one more question, if it's okay.
Sure.
If it's not, yeah. Okay, thank you so much. He's asking like, what the most rarest Dragon Ball toy or item that you have or consider is the most rarest?
Rarest that I own. My brain is going calculating all these.
Or maybe it doesn't matter if you don't own it.
Like, I'll show you something that's I'll show you one of the most interesting things that I own. It's fairly rare, but I'll show you. You'll enjoy it.
Gracias, Jonathan, por esos $10. Ya nos estamos despidiendo, pero la neta, súper cool el buen Jeremy, que se rifa. A mí me da pena porque ya es bien tarde para él. Para nosotros estamos amaneciendo, pero ya también él está a punto de dormirse, entonces. Pero qué chido que se conectaron todos, banda. Muchas gracias por estar aquí presentes y porque siguen el canal. Suscríbanse si no lo han hecho. Dejen el like en el video, compártanlo. Suscríbanse a Tokyo Toy Bastard también. Chequen ahí el canal porque la neta, les digo, les va a gustar el simple contenido que tiene ahí. Yeah.
Okay, like, I've got so many Dragon Ball things that are buried in the back of my case, and displayed where they're mounted to the walls and things like that. But I grabbed a few pieces that are somewhat rare and are uncommon, and I just really enjoy, and that are harder to get. Both of the Bulma Sofubis, produced by Poppy back in the 1986. These are two of my favorites. But I mean, they're still, you can still get them. They're not impossible to find. But yeah, I just saw them back there. One of my favorites, actually, all the rest of these are bootlegs. Hold on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, except for one. There's one that's not. But the yellow hair bootleg Super Saiyan Trunks, which took me forever to get one of these. And yeah, thanks to my friend Felipe for helping me acquire this. I think we had a whole video. We shared the story of this, and then like the 3-pack movie collection. Yeah, that was interesting. Then there's a Sofubi from Taiwan, which I've never seen another one of these. And I've actually got the Goku that goes with this, but I couldn't dig him out of there. But yeah, I've never seen another one of these, and it came in like this really cool box. But yeah, it's super neat looking.
So cool. He's so cool.
And then this guy, which is a bootleg based on like one of the most expensive Dragon Ball figures. It's Goku on a tricycle. The official one has like a little balloon that comes off the back. It's a little bit bigger, and it's like several grand to buy it. But just these little bootleg ones are also quite expensive in their own right. But yeah, it rolls, and it's got a little bell in the back. Oh no, did it stop working all of a sudden? There we go. But yeah, it's great. And then of course, anyone that's seen my channel, I've done a few videos with this guy. This is the infamous
from Spain,
cursed Goku.
right?
Yeah, from Spain. Yolanda, right? Yolanda Toys.
Yeah,
and I did a whole video about these, and I've inserted him into like several of my videos and turned them into horror, like they turn into horror episodes. So yeah, he's killed me a couple times, I think. But yeah,
so you actually have a horror figures.
Yeah, collection. I guess this is the scariest figure I think.
Yeah, you can see the pain.
I don't know. He's in pain. He might even scare Michael Myers.
Oh, Jeremy, thank you so much for your time. Really, have a really good night in Tokyo, and let's do it again sometime.
I'm down. Anytime, let me know.
Thank you so much, man. And gracias a todos por conectarse. Les mandamos un gran abrazo donde quiera que estén. Y acuérdense de suscribirse al canal, de dejar su like. Chequen el canal de Jeremy, Tokyo Toy Bastard, en YouTube, en Instagram, en Facebook. Suscríbanse, dejen un like y comenten de algo ahí. La neta es que se aprecia mucho para nosotros que creamos contenido, para que alguien se tome el tiempo de ir a comentar y demás. Entonces, un abrazo a todos, cuídense mucho, bonito día a todos y nos vemos muy pronto en un video más. Mañana sale video, así que están ahí pendientes. Abrazote, cuídense mucho, saludos a todos, bye bye.